Hello everybody, and welcome to the third week of my journey to make the perfect hat. So in the first week, went through a little bit of an introduction, what we're trying to accomplish with this project. Week two, I showed all of the swatches that I made from sheep wool in a lot of different knits and a lot of different tensions. So different ways to make fabrics, and then also how tight or how loose the fabrics were. I did a little bit of a stress test, and then I came up with a handful of fabrics that I would then go in and make in the other, I guess, more exotic wools. And to do more stress testing, and again, kind of further this journey of finding the perfect hat. Maybe it'll work for all fibers, maybe it'll work, there'll be different hats for different fibers. That's kind of what we're gonna get into this week. So since I last made the video, I made another 25 swatches or so of camel wool, yak wool, and cashmere. And also, I did the stress testing. I'll probably do a little time lapse here of the different things, the time lapse, the swatch making, the measuring, the testing, all that stuff, so you could kind of see a little bit of that process. But it actually takes quite a bit of time, especially the swatch making and then the measuring and everything. And through this process, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about my knitting machine and how the different fibers work in it, and also what the machine's capabilities are and how to manage them. Using a thinner yarn versus using a bulkier yarn, you have to use different amounts of weights to get it to knit properly. Different fibers react differently too. Cashmere and also camel wool as well is more slippery and maybe a little bit more stretchy as well. So you can actually use thicker yarns and get away with a little bit more. But at the same time, you also have to be a little bit careful of using more weight because it could stretch it more. But these are some of the idiosyncratics that I think you can only really get through with making about 100 swatches. So I'm glad that I did that. And also a little bit of how I'm doing this testing and how I thought we would find the perfect fiber. Originally, I thought, well, what I did is made the swatches, measured them, and then stretched the heck out of them, and then re-measured them. And then if it stretched out, then we knew that that fiber didn't have really the strength that we would want in a fiber that's going to, or in a fabric that's going to last forever. But especially this week, whenever I was going through the different exotic fibers, I figured that actually probably isn't the best way. For example, this yak wool swatch made in fisherman's rib. If you stretch it out, it actually returns to its natural form pretty quickly and without too much misshaping, right? And if you pull it lengthwise, all this is going to do, if you pull it lengthwise, then the measurement across the width, it's going to appear tighter. And if you pull it so it's wider, then there's not going to be as many stitches in the length going up. And so I was thinking, if I'm stretching these out and then returning them to their original shape, right, because the swatches are going to be rectangles, I don't think that that really shows if the actual fabric stretched out or not. All of these, the ones that I did first with sheep wool, and then the ones that I did this week as well, as long as I let them return to their original shape, the tension, the gauge always stayed the same. So I don't think that that's really telling us anything about the quality of the fabric. So how I actually started thinking about it this week, especially when I went through and picked my final swatches for what to make hats with, is I started to take into more consideration how quickly it returns to original form and its recoil without me helping it, maybe even more so than the measurements. So for example, with cashmere, this is super light. It's just like a feather, it's super soft. But if you stretch it out, I mean, it stays bowed. It doesn't really return very quickly compared to the yak wool that I just showed. And it's the same this is made with the same thickness of yarn. So you would think that they would actually react very similarly, but the yak wool, take it, shake it a little bit, it's already pretty much back to its original shape. So I'm taking that more into consideration. And I also learned, or figured out, I think I had inklings of this previously, but yak wool and sheep wool behave very similarly. And cashmere and camel wool are a little bit closer together in that sense. Pretty much the softer the fabric gets, the less that it really wants to recoil. So because of that, there are a few fabrics that work for yak wool and sheep wool, but aren't going to work for cashmere and baby camel wool also as well. But with that being said, I'm going to show you some of my final picks for fabrics that we're actually going to go ahead and start making hats. For the thickest, the chunkiest, we got 2 strands of DK together. So it's a very thick 1x1 rib. So this is the yak wool, and just look at the recoil of it as well. This thing, it's going to be super dense, super heavy. A little Maillard effect in this too, but it's a beautiful fabric, and I could tell that this is going to last for a lifetime. So that's in the yak wool, and then also a little Maillard in the camel wool. These are going to be pretty cool whenever they're dyed out. But even with the camel wool, you stretch these out, and it's still coming back to your lovely swatch afterwards. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing how this dyes as well too after we marl, if it's all marled up. How the different colors take the different color dyes. I think it'll be quite cool. And then last but not least, the cashmere. Super soft, beautiful. Again, I did a little marled with these too, going through some of my waste yarn, I guess. Good for scraps. And then even the cashmere, it probably doesn't, I don't know, that even comes back pretty well, even for the cashmere being stretched out. So you can see, I think, with the softer fibers, using a thicker yarn and also a little bit of a tighter tension is going to be good. So this is the thickest, the DK, 12 DK plus DK, so 12 plies spun together of our yarn. And now the DK and fingering weight. So a little bit wider, but here's one in a fisherman's rib, which I also think is very cool. So camel wool, baby camel wool, and this is just a super rugged knit. It's the tightest that it goes on the machine, and it's a beautiful, I don't know, I could zoom in on this a bit too. You could just see how the fabric is put together, how fisherman rib is made. It has floats, well not floats, tuck stitches, and it's just how it comes through in the middle of the rib. And I think maybe with this marled look too. I made this and I can't wait to see what this is gonna look like in a hat. Also great in cashmere. I think this actually could be the completely best fiber or fabric for the cashmere because it's very tight, holds together very well, and I think it's going to be really durable for a fabric as soft as our cashmere is. And then last but not least, yak wool. This feels like a carpet. The way that this is going to hold, this actually might be a little bit too much. We'll see what it is whenever the hat gets together, but this is really interesting. It really could be, maybe I will make a throw blanket like this. Could do it on the machine. I got to figure out how to do more shaping work and the joining work with fisherman's rib. The tuck stitches make it a little bit difficult, so some learning for me to do there. But there we go. Those are the examples of the fisherman's rib. And also in the same yarn, so fingering and DK together, we have a full needle rib, which looks the same on both sides. And it's thick, it's dense, and this is in the cashmere. You can see it just has, in my opinion, a little bit more strength and durability than a 1x1 rib does, which we were also doing tests with. Do I have them here? Yeah, so this is 1x1 rib, and it's fine, actually. Could do these as well. But this is in the same yarn, but it just doesn't have quite the same structure. that I think the full needle rib does. And this also has a lot more stretch to it. So really looking forward to this. Show you what it looks like in the other fibers as well. Here it is in the baby camel wool. We're gonna have a cashmere color this year, this color. So it'll be a natural fiber, similar to this. But yeah, very cool, very interesting fabric. It's one of those things, if you get a hat, like before making this, I had never felt this type of fabric before. And if I got this in my hands, you will immediately know that it's quality. You immediately know that it's luxury, and you immediately know that it's durable and gonna last forever. And then the yak wool as well. I was even pulling on this hard enough that I broke the cast off, or the bind off, which is a little bit tighter. But yeah, again, it's like a soft carpet. I don't know how to explain it. Hope you guys get to feel it soon. So that's that. And then last but not least, it's the same fabric, the same stitch. So it's a full needle rib, except in our lightest weight, in the DK. And this is the camel wool. Again, still great, holds its shape very well. Goes right back to the square, maybe a little bit of a shake. We're good. Cashmere. Incredibly soft. This warm gray cashmere is next level. And then the yak wool. So yeah, that's all the testing. So now I got to start actually making clothes. And I think that's about it for this week's video. I don't know that I have too much more to say. Am I going to go through and make, maybe I will go through and just make what? I got 12 swatches here. So maybe I go through and make 12 hats. And that actually does seem like a good way to do it, right? Because there's other things that I need to test out as well. Make the hats, and now I got to start thinking about the fitment of it. And the way that these fit, so the fisherman's rib does not have nearly as much stretch as the full needle rib does, right? There's so much more stretch, even in the same fabrics, even in the same fiber. So I got to figure those out, right? How much to stretch for fisherman's rib, how much to stretch for a full needle rib, and I'm going to have to take the fibers into consideration with that as well. So it actually is going to be a lot of testing to do. I might have to make a lot more than 12 hats. I might be up to like 24 hats or something like that to figure it out. Or hopefully we'll be able to do it a little bit less than that. Or there's going to be a lot of hats. Maybe there's people with very small heads or very big heads out there that would be interested in the samples. But okay, so yeah, that's it. That's next for me then. Figuring out the fit and figuring out the different ways to stretch out these fabrics. I'll also have to consider a little bit maybe different cast-on methods. Whenever the fabric starts. So if you're starting the hat, this is the brim. This is where the hat is going to be starting. And there could be a lot of differences in this too. How tight to make this, how loose to make it. And there's different construction methods as well. So there could be some changing with that, figuring out what works the best. Yeah, so that's going to be next week's video. I'm excited. Finally done with swatching. No more swatches for me, hopefully for a little while. So I'm excited to actually get into the designing and making of the final fabrics. But let me know what you guys think. Are there any fabrics that you think I should try out that I left out? We have the 1x1 rib. I didn't do the 2x2 rib or anything like that. But if there's other options you think that I should be including, let me know. We can always do extra videos, stuff with dyeing. I already started some dyeing projects, figuring that out. I got some black up here as well. So yeah, I'm going to be doing some dyeing, doing some hat making, and that's that. But thank you guys, and again, let me know if you have any questions, comments, and also follow the link in the description to join the hat giveaway. I'm going to be giving away 5 of these after we're all finished, and we find the perfect hat. So sign up for that. So I can get you something warm to put on your head. All right, thank you.